Joining me now from Wellington is political commentator Colin James. Morning, Colin.
Good morning, Rachel.
From what we've just heard from Sir Geoffrey, how much should John Key have known about this, do you think?
Well, he clearly should have known that Kim.com was a resident. He should have known at some point that the GCSB had bugged Kim.com. He should have known that at some point again, a lot earlier than he did, that the GCSB had broken the law in bugging Kim.com. Now, he says that's an operational matter, and sure, he's not in charge of operational matters and shouldn't be, but I think this is a systemic matter, and I checked with management experts yesterday, and managers are supposed to make sure that their employees know the law and abide by the law, and clearly this didn't happen. So it's a systemic issue, not just an operational issue. And I think what's happened now is there is a pattern of John Key not wanting to know enough things that really he should know. I should say appearing not to want to know.
What do you think it says about John Key's management style?
Well, it's a very devolved style, and that works really well when you've got good ministers and when things are going well. Simon Power, for instance, Stephen Joyce, Bill English, they all get on, they do their jobs really well. It doesn't work when you've got less capable ministers, and we've seen a number of examples of that in the course of this year. So what it says is that that style, that devolved style, at some point it causes the political management to break down. And the contrast between that and Helen Clark's style, and Trevor Mallard told a story in the urgent debate about one of Helen Clark's responses to the GCSB issue, which was swift and required him to hand over his phone because his was encrypted and hers wasn't. So somewhere between the Helen Clark very hands-on style and the John Key more devolved style is what I think a Prime Minister needs to be.
Were we also, do you think, too willing to jump to say yes to the United States?
Yeah, well, Attorney General Chris Finlayson in that same urgent debate on Thursday made a quite important point. He said that the extradition issue is a legal issue, and that's for the courts, and it's to do with the treaty and our treaty obligations. But then he said there's also the mutual assistance issue, and I think that's where things got out of hand. I think that the police, the Crown Law Office, the GCSB were just too willing to jump to help the FBI in a way that New Zealanders would think was over the top. And there's an international dimension to this too. If you read the way it's presented in the international press, just the facts make us look like hillbillies. And I think what's happened is that the agencies have been very keen to follow the government's lead in getting closer to the United States. And there's an issue, a wider issue in that intellectual property, which is the core of this issue, is the central point that the United States is pursuing in the Trans-Pacific Partnership negotiations. So we've had a taste of what that, if we concede too much in those negotiations, I think we've just had a taste of what that might mean. Steel-capped, booted US lawyers.
All right, Colin James, thank you.
Thank you.